I can hear noises. So just to be fully transparent, is it okay if I record this?
Yeah, but it's going to cost you.
I like that. How much is it going to cost me?
No, by all means.
Fantastic. Dude, today I
Which
have...
side you want, though? You want this side? Want this side? Or should I go that side? This side?
Well,
this side?
where's the light coming from? I want a little bit of like a 45-degree angle with the light contrasting your face. I love the fact that you're going in like this. Are you seriously adjusting your lights right now?
Yeah, there you go.
You're amazing. So, today, first of all, good to see you again, because I've been thinking a lot about you, which is a weird thing to say, but it's true. So many things have happened, and it started kind of around the time that we connected the first time.
Yeah.
So, today I have two things that is happening kind of almost at the same time as we are talking right now. It's 14/14, the exact moment that we said we were going to talk yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And today I have a author coming visiting me from Oslo. She just went to a symposium in Stavanger, is going to stop in here on her way back. So that's a meeting. And then I have a meeting with my mentor, Jesse Elder, who the next week, the next few days, everything is shifting. Everything is, and it was because of you. Because if I didn't have that energy that I got from you, just it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, bling. That was insane, by the way. Have you ever had that when you're trying to shit and then you feel constipated and all of a sudden someone does something like that and then all of a sudden you just loosen up? It was insane.
Didn't even touch the sides. It just fell straight out.
Straight up. But seriously, that was it was insightful. It was very fascinating to see what that actually did, because everything shifted in that that one moment.
Yeah, well, sometimes people need that little extra push, you see.
Yeah, and you are one of those who are so in flow that you seem to intuitively know when to push.
I had this weird thing happen yesterday. I don't know if I should talk about it because it's on recording, but
I can edit.
It was I was gonna just go over to my neighbor. He's from Palestine, and he wanted some cooking oil. So after I read the message, I was like, "Yeah, okay." Turned around, looked at the clock on the oven here. It said 17:00. I was like, "Oh, okay." Went out, talked to him in the hallway here, and then because I only had olive oil, I didn't have cooking oil because he was gonna make some mayonnaise. Just wondering how things are going. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm back. Long story short. Well, anyway, I'll see you later. I go in, close the door. As I walk in, I look at the time. It says 16:59, and then it just changed to 17:00. I was like, huh?
What?
It was like, no. I was like, I'm like, I haven't had anything yet. This is not happening. How is that possible? I was like, it was 17:00, and then we came in again. It said 16:59. As I looked at the watch, it just changed to 17:00. I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how that was possible because I looked at the watch. It said 17:00. Okay, went out, came back in again, and yeah. Oh.
You know, I had this. I don't know. We didn't talk after, but I had an event, the Tribe Experience, and up there we fell out of time. And you know, I tried to navigate that while falling out of time myself, but he also fell out of time, so I had to keep him kind of there, anchored. There as well. The time did weird stuff. It never changed. Yet thousands of years went by. Things happened. I had conversations and all that stuff. But I couldn't deny the fact that freaking time was the same. So, you know, with the whole being in flow so much so that these things that people see in psychedelic experiences seem to leak into normal reality as well if you are at that wavelength.
Yeah.
That's insane because it's, you know, people might go into these experiences, do things that they might think is impossible, like merging a soul and traveling the freaking strings of a soul. I've done a lot of things. And then having that confirmed back to me with not planting the seed beforehand, just having other people say the exact same thing because it was a joint venture. All these things, like I'm certain, I'm freaking convinced that all the things that we do in psychedelic experiences or in through any, you know, mind perception or mind altering drug, whatever it is, we are also capable of doing every day. Maybe
exactly.
Maybe not as you know, potent or as focused, because you kind of get pushed into meditation zone, but I mean, being aware and doing it seems like it's actually a thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of the things that was the onslaught of psychedelics was that I actually every time that's why I told you yesterday 1414 was because I looked at the clock yesterday when I was writing to you, and then it said 1414, so I just made up my mind tomorrow 1414. But every time I look at the clock, I don't really see it at like 1:30 or 1:45, or I get it either at 13:13, 16:16, 18:18, 22:22. They're all parallel numbers, and it's like throughout the day you just like yeah. And then it's only when you actually look at the clock and you see these parallel numbers, that's when it sort of like hits you. And it's been like that ever since I started experimenting, going down the rabbit hole.
With psychedelics, or just the rabbit hole in general? Yeah.
Now with psychedelics, it was after I started doing with psychedelics that I started actually looking at the time, and when every time I looked at the time, it would just give me parallel numbers throughout the day and throughout the week and throughout the month. But I never really looked at it that way. It's just like a hello, now it's 16:16, you know, hello, now it's 14:14. And then I take the numbers and I put them together, and then I add them up. So I get like, I've been getting a lot of positive numbers lately. It's basically just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, stuff like that.
Yeah. How much do you know about, how much have you gone through numerology? Just numerology?
Well, I did this funny thing once. I put my name together, and if you put it into number, right, it's like 3, and then my last 7. So 7 plus 3 is 10. Now, that's also 10.
That's 1, isn't it?
Huh?
So then that's like the angel number 1 or whatever, because 1 plus 0, you can't kind of add those.
Exactly. No.
That's a powerful.
But I just left because the other day I was thinking when my mother passed away, and I was reading this book about reincarnation and stuff, and then I was just in bed, and then I was adding up. I retracted my birth date, or how old I was when she passed away, and then I subtracted that from the day she died, and then I found out that she was then she was 37 when she had me. So then again, 7 plus 3 is 10.
Yeah.
And the same with her name is 10. And then if you add, I had her when I was 27, and that's exactly 10 years before what she had it. So you see 10, 10, 10 is it's showing up again all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really weird. And then when it hit me, when I saw 37 plus 10, I just put the phone away. Like, you need to go to bed now, because you're just gonna, you know.
Yeah, but how? So, because this sounds kind of, and arrest me if I'm wrong, I got into all this because I had the experience first, and then I wanted to make sense of it. Instead of seeing a concept like numerology, and then this is what I'm going to do in my life now. This is what I'm going to focus everything on, and you're looking for them, right? Instead of having those things popping up as messengers, just randomly, to point you in some direction, because it clearly has a whole fuck ton of meaning beyond what we humans have dubbed the concept of numerology. That's freaking fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But what have you seen then in terms of what 1 means? Because I am a fresh seed in numerology.
Well, like, you know, in an author, my girlfriend, she was into this. Well, she knows more about this than I do. I sort of fall out when she opens her mouth, starts talking about it. So I have to concentrate next time she talks about it. But she's there's something to do with our what was it, our birth dates or something like that.
Yeah.
And the closer you come to what was it? Was it 1? 3.
6,
No,
9.
Yeah, no, that's the universe's number 369. But it was something to do with like if you're 1 or 11 or 22. I'll have to get back to you on that. But we did some funny stuff one night, and then we were just talking to people we knew, and it was funny because all the people that we interact with when it comes to this, they were all in the number category that sort of like was said to be like you're entitled to something. And those were all people that were open-minded, all people that we knew that, are pretty much on the same field that and they all were in this category of being on, I wouldn't say the right or the wrong side, but anyway, all the people that we took up, we could group them into one side, and they were all in the same, they had some sort of connection with the numbers though. And then you would just take random people that what about him or her, and they're like no, and then you think, but do they actually talk? No, they don't. And you see, so there was a clear difference between people who are open for this and do talk about it, and contra people who weren't.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was just, we didn't even really dive into it. We were just, playing around with it, looking at numbers at what about him or her? Okay. And then we're like, well, all these people that they're like on, they fit the same category of what we talk about. And then you have the other group of people that you actually talk to, but once in a while you'd be like, long time, we're on board, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. This basically just chit-chatting.
Wow.
Yeah. But then you have the group that all fell in the numbers, and there are people that you actually, when you actually meet them, you stop and you take it. You forget time, and you're like, oh shit, I have to be somewhere, because you just indulge in one another, and you get some feedback from him, and they hear from you. But they're all these people were in the right sort of numbering that you follow this step by step thing.
Wow,
it was really weird.
It is really weird, and it's like. See, you said this is very interesting because you said categories. Like you can basically put a stereotype on the people who do a certain thing. And yesterday I had a discussion with a blog post. First time, it was very fascinating. But I was reading the thoughts of another person who had these very strong opinions regarding psychedelics. He said that he had done all the psychedelics and he had a lot of experience. And because of that, he could say what he meant because he was also one of those who had gone anti-psychedelics. And I was like, oh, I wanted to listen to what he has to say.
He went anti-psychedelics?
Anti, yeah. I was like, I don't think anyone should do psychedelics, and I have the experience to prove it, kind of. And I was like, yeah. And so I went in there and I was like, I have to figure out why. And it was one blog post, part 2 of 3 parts, posted 3 weeks ago. But there was no other parts. There was just that part 2. So I read through it, and he was a Christian. And he became a Christian after having psychedelics. So I was like, well, then he missed the point. Because what I see, this is something that I'm very interested in hearing your opinion on. Because I found that through psychedelics, I removed all desires of external validation, basically. All need to subscribe my faith in a deity, and basically my faith became the faith I have in myself. So then I started to, I could very openly speak with extremists to say, like, I could talk to a terrorist, I could talk to a Hinduist, I could talk to an Islamist, I could talk to Christians, I could talk to any group, and I could be completely non-judgmental because I believe that it is the frequency of their belief. So if they believe something hard enough, that in itself is why it's working. But if you have this dogma, this recipe, this book that you have to do it through, then you're limiting yourself because you think that it is based on that it works. Yeah, so it's really fascinating because then you have the whole, again, numerology. It's simply something that humans found out. There is something there. The nature is doing something through numbers, and we have to invent mathematics and stuff. So seeing everything as just energy. I trigger people when I say that I identify as energy. Because if I'm just a subatomic quantum fluctuation vibrating in a Planck scale, and everything else is just a different frequency of that, and it materializes based on that, well, then I'm just a universe observing myself through myself. And then there is no boxes. Everything is flow. Everything is just open to interpretation. There are no rules. I mean, just look at human design. Jesus Christ, how much do you know about human design?
What, human anatomy or
Oh no.
human?
Oh, dude, you're gonna love this. You know, numerology, astrology, and the Kabbalah and
Yeah.
tarot. All these things are separate systems, like categories. Human design takes quantum physics, the Kabbalah, numerology, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐟𝐭, a whole bunch of different disciplines into one that is based on the exact time and place, like the time, not just the date and place of where you were born, and it will give you kind of the unique features that was if affecting your genetic composition, if you will, at the time of your birth based on how the universe were. So and it takes all these things and it's so freaking accurate. It's like instead of these fortune tellers saying that, well, based on the fact that it is Wednesday and the sun is out and the date is this, you need to do that because then a bird is going to shit in your face and you're going to have fortune, whatever. This is more like, do you remember when you did that thing and you felt like that? That's probably because of this. It's not you, right? I was like, oh God damn, you're seeing how you've been bullshitting yourself. And just because if we live in flow and if we love our job, we love everyone around us, we love everything, then I say that love is a high frequency. And the higher the frequency, the more flow. And the more flow, the more energy is going to attract the same. And the universe is just going to pop these things in your fucking path. And I've documented it. I've felt like if this is true, that it has to be provable. So I started to say things like I got this flash, this, oh, what the fuck? Almost like an image, more of a sensation. Like if you watch the sun and you close your eyes, you're still seeing the sun in your eyes, right? Very weird knowing instead of a feeling. And when I had those, I documented it. I said that I had this thing. I feel like I'm going to have this adventure. Blah, 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 XYZ. And then all of a sudden it happened. And then it's like, what do you know? It happened. So I think that during this adventure, I'm going to do XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And then planning for it. And then it happened exactly as I saw it. But way, way, way more than I could anticipate because it was like, I can only perceive a small part of what's going to happen, but everything else is up for whatever to happen. And that's fascinating. That's mind-boggling, actually.
Well, it's kind of like the book that we elaborated on a couple of months back, that Becoming Superhuman.
Yes, Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, it pretty much goes in that you can manifest your own reality in the time you're living in. And when I sold my house in January, I was looking for property by the sea. And then I found one which is basically I can just jump off the balcony here into the water. That's how close I am.
I look forward to do that.
I
look forward to do that. Go on.
Yeah. But I was just saying to myself, okay, that's the one. You know, that's where I want to live now. And then I was visualizing myself. I hadn't gone to a Visning yet, so I didn't see how the apartment looked, but I was just visually myself from the pictures that were on the advertisement, and I saw myself on the balcony. I saw myself doing this. And I just kept on doing this for like 3 weeks, and then I finally got hold of the landlord, and then I called her, and then said, "Yeah, I'd like to come for Visning," and then I just said, "Yeah, I'll take it." She's like, "Okay." It was like that. It was just, she didn't even ask. I mean, I heard there was a lot of people looking for it, but she hadn't made up her mind yet. But then I just came with my daughter, and that was it. And I said, "I'll take it." And she's like, "Okay." That was it.
As if a coincidence. It was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. As if a coincidence. Yeah. But I had been using the last, because I had problem getting hold of her. I think she was on holiday or some stuff like that. I kept on writing letters, SMSs and emails. But then when she actually replied back, and then we picked a date, I just walked in and I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." And then she's like, "Okay, no problem." Wow. And that was it. And then I'm trying, but the thing is, like, I don't know if it was because I knew that I had a time frame to find a new place and move out after I sell the whole house, or I'm trying to actually just go back and trying to find out what was the frequency I was at that time and place, actually visualizing those things, because It's either the frequency I was at, because then I'm sending something out, and then more than likely the landlord picked it up, and she already understood that, yeah, you're gonna move in here, no problem, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to just play with that. I've been trying to play with that now. She's leaving. Well, my youngest daughter is leaving for holiday next week, and then I have some free time for myself. And then I'm going to implement that frequency into a sort of like a meditative state, but with psychedelics behind it.
Yeah.
So it'll be like an extra boost, but then I'm going to concentrate on trying to harness that frequency, because I told you the time about Alex that was here on the window and everything like that. Yeah, I think it was like a month ago or something. I had a little trip, and there was a lot of people behind me in this room. The energy, everyone came. I think my parents were there. Alex was there. Everyone was there, and you could literally see them all in the windows. Right?
Wait. In your windows, or did you see them when you turned around also, or just the windows?
No, they're standing behind me. I can see the reflection in the windows.
But when you turn around, they're not there.
No, they're not there. But you can see them in the windows.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, chills.
Yeah. Because you feel it when you feel like this energy. It's like it's a weird feeling, because, like, let's say you're going to visit your parents' place, and then before you even get there, you still have this feeling that you know that they're there, because you know you're going to meet them at the house, so you know that they're there.
Yeah.
But then there's one day where they actually pass away to the other side, and then you actually don't feel that frequency anymore. It does not exist. It's just quiet.
Yeah.
But then if you're open for it again, and I would recommend a lot of people that have had problems with losing loved ones, and having, saying that they want to have a last chat, or they want to give their messages forward, they should take a shitload of fucking psychedelics and just concentrate on those people, because that is the only way you're going to get validation. Trust me.
Yeah, well, let's clarify, because there's a lot
from
of people
my point of view, that's what I think anyway.
Yeah, and I agree, but I think that if people are to take psychedelics, many people see that as the red pill, and they expect everything to just happen. You are on a different frequency. Yeah, exactly. So you can navigate that. You know how to go back home and find yourself, and then use that.
Exactly.
Most people need to have a shitload of personal development or guidance before they can use it in that way. It's like a hammer can be used to chop a head off, or use it for a nail. Yeah, but that is so freaking interesting. I know exactly what you mean. I lost a friend in May 22, and I met him through this whole thing. We met on a podcast episode. We started to talk a lot. Keith Aronowitz, he had a whole bunch of ayahuasca trips behind him. And my experience with mushrooms and his experience with ayahuasca, and both our experiences with spirituality and all that stuff, it was really interesting to have those conversations. But he passed away like that. But we have been talking about what happens if one of us was to pass over, and the semantics of death and what we could understand so far. And when he passed, first of all, I had a Keith frequency, just like you say. Like, I felt Keith. If I was to have him around on my property, if he all of a sudden came from the US and visited me here, I'm pretty sure that I was going to know that he was here before he came.
Obviously,
yeah. And then whenever we were to talk together, the freaking writing bubble on Messenger was going on the other side. So we were doing that the same time every time. And then when he passed, I felt Keith like 100, and I thought, I need to talk to him. Like, it's been a while, and I just learned that he had cancer. And then I go into Facebook, and I see, the first thing I see is Keith, a picture, like he's just sitting like, right? And then above it says Keith Aronowitz, born, died. I was like, wow, fuck. But then I went through the emotions, and after that, I felt Keith. And it was almost like the thing I talked about earlier. It was a knowing, it was a sensation. And I know if I was to go into that, like the mediumship and whatever, all those things that you can do, I'll probably be able to talk to him. But because you're open to it, you can also get the same understanding and knowing just by knowing that it's a possibility. So I felt like he was just smiling and nodding, and it was like, fuck yeah, bro, looking forward to seeing you there. You know? It's insane. It's, in a good way. It's something that most people don't talk about, and I'm 100% agreeing on the fact that it can provide closure like nothing else.
Yeah, it can. It was.
Yeah.
It was one of the best feelings ever because I mean, I had a strict father with an upbringing who always said, like as long as you're not bleeding, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to cry. Get up on your feet and all that other stuff. And you'd have problems like showing feelings in front of him because he was, a military guy and comes from a strict upbringing where sort of the hand will dictate the rest of the day, sort of thing, or a belt or whatever they used to do. But when he passed away 2020, and I haven't been able to sort of pick up his frequency yet, but I had one episode here. It was about a half month ago, I think. Because when someone's in the room, my hairs, they start to raise, right? And it's not just like one arm, it's like all arms, all hair just starts raising up, and then you have this cold draft. You can basically just put your hand through this cold draft, and it's just basically like here. It's not here, it's not here, it's here. You can literally feel it. And then I was like, okay, someone's here. So then and then I just felt like talking, talking like I'm talking now, sitting here, just talking out and expressing my thoughts and what has happened and how I'm doing and so forth, like as if someone was actually here, but now they're listening to what I have to say. And then this went on for about 10-20 minutes, and then afterwards I felt really like I felt better that I actually could bring forth what I'm thinking, because I was like, I tell my daughter, like, we are all in our own little universe. I mean, this little body is our universe, and for me to understand what's going on in your universe, you actually have to open up your mouth and express it to me. I cannot read, I cannot, and that's the problem with a lot of people today, is that something will happen to them, and then they'll give off a feeling and a reaction, and then they'll just carry it on them. They just don't. I don't understand that. Why would you allow that situation of what just happened to make you feel this bad or uncomfortable? Because it's just simply just saying, hey, excuse me, I don't need to listen to that, or excuse me, what you just said makes me feel uncomfortable, can you stop? It's that simple.
Exactly.
Right. And if you ask another person the question, and if you don't like their answer, well, then that's your problem. You asked for the question and you're getting an answer, right? And that's the same thing when I was doing this, is that I felt that one thing is thinking it and not saying it, but once you say it, apparently it becomes like alive. It becomes like something picks up on your, it's understanding you, but thinking it's not going to happen. And after that, I found out that every time I get that feeling of that energy, because I can specifically know when, for example, if Alex is here or my mother's here, they have a different frequency, right? And then after that, after I was done ranting and pretty much was done talking, I had this urge, like I just had to eat something. I was like, what? It's so hungry. It's like you haven't eaten for like a month. And the first thing I do is I just go in the fridge, and then I just open up the door, and the first thing I see is silver onions. And that's what my dad's favorite food was. He loved silver onions. So I was like, okay, you want silver onions? All right, we'll get some of that stuff. What else do you want? Olives? Okay, that's what he also liked to have. And then I just started guffling him and that stuff for no reason.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, so yeah, and I feel that a lot of them, they have these urges that they still, something that hangs around from being in this materialistic world, but then over in this other dimension that they're in, they still have these urges. Like I don't know, it just, and then you're sort of like you're picking it up. Like there was this one period I was drinking a lot, and I just didn't understand why. Like, why are you drinking so much? And then I was like, aha, Alex, he likes a bit of cognac. Yeah. So that's what the guy's running around here. He's sucking off that. And then I just sort of had to control it and say, hey, it's enough now. You've had your share, and we'll come back in a few months. But we're not going to do this every fucking day, man.
Wow.
And, yeah. And it's stuff like that that's kind of like really, really spaced. Really spaced.
It's been known for a long time. Like The Matrix, for fuck's sake. What is it called? The dude who fucking betrayed them. He's sitting there eating a steak, but he can't taste the steak if he's not in the Matrix.
No, Mr. Sanders. This is what his name is, Mr. Sanders.
I'm not sure. It's the dude
No,
from the
Anderson.
yeah, Anderson is the agent, but I think Bane.
Yeah.
He's from the crew.
Bane,
of,
yeah.
He's sitting there eating this steak, and he wants to kind of sacrifice everyone for the taste of the
Exactly.
steak.
The taste, yeah.
And that's it makes sense because who are we to know how it works? But people could say that you were possessed, that they hijacked your system, whatever, and now you can make them feel through you. And because they're not in the Matrix anymore. They're kind of like they removed the headset, whatever we want to call it. Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that. Holy shit.
And that's the funny thing with Alex was that because like I told you, he was like 7 years in isolation, and he you know, sort of trained himself, and he kept on saying like I'm done here, like there's nothing more for me to learn here. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, I'm done. I need the next level. It went 2 weeks and the guy passed away.
Wow. Okay, but how? Because I don't remember how he passed away.
No, he apparently they found him in an apartment, and it's been like a close and shut story with the police and everything. And I don't know, because he was related to a biker gang and so forth and so forth, but he was sort of pulling himself out of it, you know.
Yeah, I see.
So the plan was to actually go down this summer to his mother and sort of get like the last because I think it was only the parents that were actually told them what was found and what was not done and so forth and so forth. So I like to get the end story to that. But the thing is, I mean, these urges they come especially on the months that they have their birthday. So in February I was doing that, and that's my dad's birthday. August is my mother's. I haven't really found out. It's like she doesn't have any urges, but I have this tendency to sort of switch over to white wine in August for some reason, and that's what my mother liked, is white wine. And then the same with Alex again. In August again, when we get to the end of the month, then it goes over to a bit of liquor and a few joints and so forth like that. And that's what his thing was, you know.
Wow.
And it's. Yeah. So it goes with the, and then when we come to Christmas, then I get really depressed, and I'm a bit down and stuff like that. And that's because it has to do with my mother's joyful time, and she would always the Christmas trees and everything. You take it out to the max with all these decorations and everything. And I'm and that's one of the things that hit me, is that when she's not here anymore, Christmas is not the same anymore. So I sort of like just shove that under the carpet. And I try to do my best, but we'll try. We'll really try. Well, you can hear me now saying it. We'll try better this year. How's that? Okay. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm also with the my grandmother.
But just talking, but just talking can bring a lot of justification to people who lost people close by. Just talking to them, because I have this feeling that they are around. They can basically, let's say we're sitting here having a discussion, and we're like on the other side. And I'm like, today I'm going to go check up on my brother now. I'll be back in 2 minutes. And then he can just and he'll be sitting here just observing me, right?
Yeah.
Me running around, hitting my head in the fucking concrete wall. And they're like, why are you doing this? It's all in front of you. Like, they
100%. And also because that's, Saga. We talked a little bit about Saga. That's more or less it. Because it basically pushes people to create videos every day. Because if they want I hate people who just say, I want this, I want that. They're complaining about it on their smartphone. They're not doing anything to actually achieve it. They're not learning new things. They're not connecting with people. So Saga was that push to make a video every day. Is going to create something for you. You're going to see that by you creating online. The online, it's like the universe. Energy attracts more of the same. More people are going to find you. And you're going to see that you have something to say that actually helps people. But also talking. Because then you are talking, and then if we are to just assume that a fraction of this is true, then you're not just talking for yourself. You're releasing things. You're releasing pain, trauma. You're healing. You're talking to those people who's passed. It's so freaking bigger than most people can probably comprehend, because it's so far out there in mainstream terms, right? But it's talking. It's one of those things that we don't fucking do. Nobody talks. Nobody talks about the things that actually bothers them. Yeah, and it's a fucking mask. Like when, and also, when you feel when you have that thing that just rummaging around and you feel bad for it, then I don't know if you feel this, but I can look at the mother of my kid and I can say, stop it. Like, what is the point? Because I'm feeling her. Right? But then there's the pride again. No, everything's fine. Well, I feel your pain, so please, just for the sake of, if you want to do it for me, just talk about it. Because sometimes that pain can just, it affects people. Your energy field affects those around you. If you're feeling like shit. Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
For us, it's obvious. Like, I'm trying to use these examples. If you go into football field and full stadium and they score a goal and everyone is doing the wave, you're going to feel fucking electrified. And if you're going into a trauma treatment center and everyone is sitting there thinking about how they want to kill themselves, then you're going to feel freaking pushed down by that. It's so easy. Love, hate. Like, just be on a high frequency. But it's people don't see frequency as we do. And I'm looking for the common denominator. How can I say that without them thinking that, no, that's crazy? Because that's also a thing. Like, if you feel triggered by anything that anyone says, that's an indication. Like, that feeling is a sign that there might be something here that you're not telling yourself, or you had failing to accept. Trying to figure out that path. It's interesting when people are so judgmental and close-minded.
Yeah, I usually tell the people to say to people, but how many people today have you talked to that you don't know?
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Like, just walking up to sitting at a bus stop, and then you see someone on the phone and just, hello, how are you doing today? And just watch their reaction.
Yeah, it's like, are you crazy? But hey, this was fun.
yeah, with all these tattoos, and I'm a big guy, right? And then I usually talk to people and say, hi, how are you doing? And they'd be like, 911? Yeah, I mean, what sort of world are we living in today? Because I mean, I'm physically there in front of you, right? Okay, I'll give you a first impression by just looking at me quickly, but then after a while you start taking, and you're like, oh, this guy not so bad after all, blah blah blah. But you prefer to talk to someone on a screen that you don't know anything about. You feel no energy whatsoever, but that's more comfortable for people today.
It is.
Yeah. And then you wonder why so many people are lonely. Yeah, because I don't want to talk to him. 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 And then you're just digging your hole just further and further down.
100%.
But I know a lot of people with well, I've had trauma, and people with trauma is that they keep it inside, right? And then it just builds and it builds and it builds, and all of a sudden you just snap for something that has no relevance whatsoever on why you actually snap, but you've been keeping it in so long.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, my mother used to talk to herself. I do the same thing. There's so many times my daughter said, "Who the hell are you talking to?" I'm like, "What?" Yeah, never mind. My mouth is going, and I'm just talking to myself. And then she'll stand in the corner, like filming me, like, "Look at this crazy motherfucker, honestly." And look at you, look at it. You're talking to yourself. What are you talking to? Like, yeah, well, I have a discussion though.
I love that.
But the more people talk, I think the better things will be. But we have this pink elephant in the room, and that's technology. Yeah?
Yes.
They say it's supposed to help us, but it's not really helping us. It's just making us more confined, more stupider. I mean, when people have to actually bring up their phones and they have to see, where does the sun come up? I mean, hello, we've really lost it. We have.
Yeah. That's why I want to create a game for Roblox. Have you heard of Roblox? It's a game with a bunch of games created by gamers, basically.
Okay.
But the thing is, because technology, I agree 100%. I see brains in the kids, like down to the age 7, 5, however soon you give them technology, you see that they are melting, literally. They can't sit straight in the couch. They don't have creativity, and they feel like nothing can be done if they don't have the screen. So in those cases, I live my life as an adventure. So, and it's also facing the uncomfortable, right? Going up there in the blazing sun with a backpack, and you're going to walk 2 kilometers to get to water, and it's painful, but it's when you get there, it's always worth it. So pushing them out of it. But I figured I'm not the only one with kids who has been introduced to technology. Like I can't control what the mothers of my kids are doing. I can only do what I can do, and then with my knowledge of technology, I can start to tell them, like, what would happen if you go into something or you talk about something and all of a sudden you see an ad for something and then you're acting on these things. So basically, you have to be aware. You have to be aware of what you're doing, and you have to be aware of who you're talking to, and you have to be aware that people are not really nice all the time, right? And then with all of this, that's also something that's going to come in Valhalla, because Valhalla is going to be this center, chain of centers, that is going to teach people that they are more than they think. And I was thinking, how do I introduce that? Because it's so far out there compared to where they have been learning things so far. So technology, we are now moving into a new age, Web3, AI, all these things that is insanely powerful and is like money. It can be used for good or bad. And I figured, if I create a game on Roblox that is like this Viking adventure game, whatever, and make it really engaging, then I can also instill life lessons. Like, you need to meditate now. You need to go in here and you have to do that. And you're going to get rewards. And because of Web3, they're going to get like these legally binding rewards that is going to follow them through life, because now nothing is as it was in the 70s, right? And if they continue the game, they're turning their life into a game. And they are getting the same powers that we're talking about now. I'm calling like powers because it's freaking insane. And when you get to a certain point, you're going to get this NFT, this valuable asset that you can buy houses for now today. You can put a deed into an NFT, like this blockchain thing. And you legally now own the house. So in the game, I can bridge the gap. And I can create these things that is going to take them out of the technology that is now holding them hostage and create something that is going to be good. And that makes me really excited, because I agree. Technology is fucking dangerous.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see how many generations it's going to take before people just forget how to write, because we're not even writing in school. We're not even writing in school anymore. It's all just typing.
Yeah,
it's just typing.
It is. And like, how old is your daughter?
She's 10. She'll be turning 11 now, September.
So you have a little advantage on me. You have seen how the school system has been implementing these new things and technologies and iPads, online homework, reading a freaking book that is a screenshot on the fucking iPad. And the books are not stimulating.
No, I don't even see the point of having teachers anymore if you're going to go down that road at all. Because, yeah, well, I mean, I remember when I grew up, I had teachers they actually enjoyed teaching. Yes. And then they would actually go out of their way. I mean, after school is closed, and if you ask the teacher, said, I need a little bit of extra help with that, It's like, yeah, no problem, sit here, and then we'll do it. But today it's like, yeah, you got your parents, or you didn't pay enough attention in class, or I don't even know the fucking answer. That's the best one I've ever heard from a teacher. Well, I don't know. I said, well, why are you teaching then if you can't really? And then it has to do about with there's schools that don't have the right qualifications, so you might have someone who. Look at this guy here. Look at this guy here. Can I change my? How do I change the?
I think you have to. How to do that? There's gonna be something.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy here.
Nice.
Who is this guy?
How often has he been there? Is that the first time?
This is the first time.
Interesting. You're gonna have some interesting interactions with that guy. He wants to get in. Who knows? Huh? I mean, we don't even question it. That is not normal in terms of what normal is today. So that is definitely something that's going to be very interesting to follow.
Yeah. But how do I get my... Oh, there we go. Okay.
I have to leave very soon because she just entered 𝐓𝐴𝐻𝐿, but there's something that you touched on, and this is why we have to have more of these talks if you're open for that.
Yeah.
In terms of education, I live my life based on what I created online. And yesterday, I invested a lot of money into what's going to take me to the next level. And I figured I'm not going to go and teach people anything that I haven't done before. If I'm going to sell a coaching program for 50,000 euros, I'm going to fucking have that as an expense for myself. I have paid 50,000 if I am charging that, right? Because at that point, I will teach everyone how to do everything up to that point. But you go to school and you have the same classrooms that you have 50 years ago, and the same teachers teaching from a book that they have just maybe read the chapter on for what they teach that class, and they have no idea from the outside the scope of the book. So if you're going to learn how to do business, let's say that you go to business school, and your teacher is earning a freaking teacher salary employed by the school, never had anything more than that, but he's teaching you how to be a millionaire. Where the fuck is the logic in that? Because he has none of the mindset, none of the actual thing that matters, none of the experience that he can guide people through, no passion whatsoever. It's just regurgitating the fucking information and expecting people to listen. So you have overweight certified fitness coaches or by the book Christians who have no idea what love is. Like it's boggling my mind because it's where we've come to today. Everything is universal. You get a barcode when you're born. You get everything that is following this universal graph of what a human should be. And then you get ADD when you get to fucking school and you're not smart enough.
Well, they call it ADD for those who actually are not interested in what's being taught to them. That's the thing. You have to find you have to find something that's interesting, and then you'll have someone who will be so focused that it's unbelievable. But you still have to, you have to ignite that interest in it. And if you're not interested, if what you're teaching is not interesting, then you gotta, and then they blame it on ADD, HDH, these guys concentration problem. Yeah, that's because you're fucking boring. You can't bring forward. Yeah, and that's not the child's problem. It's your problem.
100%. The power of why. Why are you doing anything in life? If you know why you're doing it, you're a fucking powerhouse. Nothing can stop you. So if your why is to figure out the outer reaches of the universe, then there's nothing in that between now and then that is going to seem difficult because it's a joy to figure out what is at the end of the universe. But today is like, read this book. Why? Fucking hell. I love these conversations. Thank you, bro. You just fueled me up for another interesting interview with an author. I have no idea what that's going to end up to be.
Well, it'll take you down a road, and then you'll see what it is. But one thing is producing a game to help people find themselves, or at least detach themselves from this so-called world that we're supposed to live in. Abide by and these norms. But if you just do some research yourself, you see that there's no one actually following by the rules anyway, right? Exactly. And there is a two-sided story of what's really going on in the world, and that's what's scary, is because here you have like 9 o'clock news at 9, and then the people who watch the news at 9, they get their 5 minutes input, and then they're sufficient, and then they know what's going on, and that's enough for them to actually make a choice the next day or the day before because what they saw in the news, right? And then you'll have someone like me who'll come up and talk to them, and then they'll be like, huh? How is that? What? No, I didn't hear that on the television. That's not true. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. Then I know what sort of people they are, because they're not open to actually, turn the page or look at the backside of the book, or actually be open to hear other people's opinions, you see? And that's, there's something that has pretty much cracked the code. As like it's like when you go to a zoo, right? You can throw over a telephone to a monkey in a cage, and he'll be like, "Oh, and then you just look at us. We're just the fucking same. Yes. Just the same.
There is a story that actually fucking it crushes all the confusion around that. Like if people say, "No, I'm not a monkey." Well, we operate as humans, and humans have been taught and conditioned over time. So they had this experiment. 10 monkeys in a room, one ladder, a banana on top of the ladder. If a monkey went up there to get the banana, the entire room would be showered in ice cold water. So that happened a few times, and people, like the monkey was like, "You don't you fucking dare! I don't want to be cold." So it's just gonna tear it down. And then they start to switch out the monkeys that was in the original experiment, watering out. And after a while, none of the original monkeys was in that room, but everyone knew that you don't fucking touch that banana because there's something. They said something. Don't do it. I'm gonna kick your ass if you do. And that's how we are. Like we go with the sheep herd. Sorry to be that blunt, but we're literally just following the flock.
I know.
Look at the cliques in school. The emos, the jocks, the literaries, the freaking Harry Potters. All these different groups, because we are so categorized. It's insane. It's insane. Cogs in a wheel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's just cogs in a wheel. But it's no. I mean, after my psychedelic experiences, It takes me about a minute and a half, and then I just decide there and there, okay, I'm not going to waste more time on this person. I just walk off. It's that simple. I'm not gonna indulge in just listening to bullshit. I'm not gonna indulge in just I'll say my piece, but I fully respect where they're coming from, and I'm not gonna trample on their thoughts and beliefs, but I'm not gonna sit there and listen to it.
No.
That's the difference from what before you would be like humble and be like, oh yeah, don't you say, and then you look at the watch and you're like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden 45 minutes is gone. What have I done really? Just sitting there indulging, listening to bullshit. I'm not going to take it anymore. So I'm just and that's the thing when we get back to these numbers again is all the people that sort of are important. They just already just fill this void, and then the people that you basically have nothing. They're on that side, and then you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
And that was what was so interesting with those numbers, that everyone just fell into categories, and we were like, yeah, but he does this, she does that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. No, he doesn't. Yeah, no, and it was just in front of us. We knew exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that there's a thing that could be done with that, because from what I've seen so far, there's a lot of theories that goes into reincarnation. Like, you are reincarnated into whatever frequency you are. You are meant to do something, and you're on this evolutionary journey, right? So who knows?
Yeah, they say, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows when you die? Who knows what happens? If it's a rebirth, or is it just, who knows? That's what's interesting. Chapter change. But what if all these people that fall into the categories correspond with a number that is like a part of the journey, so that if you are around a certain number, let's say that you talk to me on phone, I sit there at the bus stop, I call you, and it's like, hey, so we started talking about where your thoughts are when you're not thinking of them. Let's continue that conversation. And you're just sitting there talking loud, and people are around you like, then you hang up. It's like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help but hearing, but what did you say? Well, here is this interesting story. So because we have to talk about it, and not right now. We're recording this, and if I was having more time, I would do it live, and then just share the knowledge all over. Because right now, this type of knowledge, first of all, you can be found floating head down in the Hudson River. Second, you can be shadow banned by all the freaking social media networks out there, because they don't want this come out. It's a war. It's a fun war. It's a game. And, when we talk about these things, we have a very specific and weird view on death compared to a lot of other people. That's being said, I will never, ever take my own life.
No.
I love my life. And it's crazy that you actually have to say that these days, because now people who are alternative, they will disappear. Like, I saw this video 2 days ago saying that first it started with a whole bunch of scientists and researchers and people free thinkers who disappeared. They died. And then was one guy who said, I will never kill myself. Like, I love my life, and this is what's happening, and that's why I'm saying that. And, so 2 weeks later, there was a podcast episode, and the host says, I was supposed to talk to this guy, the same guy that said that, but he's deceased. Yeah. And then was like, fuck, it's on. It's on. Like, now I think everyone has a responsibility to bring back the transfer of knowledge in a real way, where we actually try to do as they did before, the wisdom from generation to generation. But we stopped fucking writing books. I wish my grandfather wrote a book so that I could just get to know who I am, where I came from, and who he was, and what he learned standing on the shoulder of giants. So now I think that we all have a fucking responsibility to share what we know, so that those people coming after us can be slightly less stupid than what they are taught to be today. That is not saying that everyone is stupid. It's just we're learning what we're learning. We don't know what we don't know, and we're not going to know what you don't know at school. In terms of this. Oh, thank you. I'm vibrating. Thank you so much. I have to go because she's entering the commune, but I will reach out to you as soon as I can.
Likewise. You take care for now, and then I'll get back to you as soon as possible, yeah?
Fantastic. Love you, bro. Have a fantastic day.
Love you. Take care. Likewise. Ciao.
Ciao. That was amazing. That was amazing. If this was amazing for you, as amazing as it was for me, then reach out. A lot of things are happening. And if any of this was interesting, this is basically the foundation of what we're talking about in Saga, in Ragnarok, in Legacy Coaching, or in the Legacy Forge, which is free. All these things are things that we're going to go and really make an effort to get out there in a structured, non-overwhelming way, following principles and frameworks. Because it's teachable. We all have the powers. We all have these abilities. And I'm saying abilities, I'm saying powers, because I think that that is exactly what they are. I hope you liked that episode, and I hope that you like the content in general. What I try to do is to give you all the tidbits, the nuggets, the experience, the insights, everything that I've learned to get to where I am today, so that you can do the same. I do that in very many ways. And right now we're building a team, so it's also gonna be in even more ways. The first thing is to support the cause. You can donate. Just by doing that, you will get access to more stuff than you would find for free. But you can also do it for free. Go to the YouTube channel, go into the Legacy Forge. There are many people in there who's just there to talk. And you are more than welcome to join us. If you are searching for something in life, if you know that you're meant for something more, if you think that there are things that you can do that can take you to the next level, I'm pretty sure you're going to find it in the Legacy Forge. If you want more hands-on approach, go to saga.theseppola.com. That is a course that is designed for you to walk your talk. First, find your walk. Set goals. How to structure stuff. What to pay attention to. How to find your superpowers. All these things to really find out who you are. Personality tests, different readings, a whole bunch of things. Then you got Ragnarok if you already know who you are, but you want to take it further. You want to take it to the next level. This is where we focused mainly on how to turn your passion into your power, so that you can actually create a living from what you know and what you have lived. And it's for people who wants to create financial freedom. Let's just be honest about it. Then we have Legacy Forging, Legacy Coaching. This is a one-to-one approach where me and you are going to talk, and it's not for everyone. If anything of this is interesting, you have all the opportunity to change your life. And I will do everything in my power to find the most interesting people on planet Earth and find all the information that can set people free. But ultimately, it comes down to you. You have to walk your own talk. You have to do the things. If you don't, nobody can do it for you. There's a reason they say you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink. We can give you the information, but you have to do the implementation. Or else you're just going to do mental masturbation. Have a fantastic day. Take care of your freaking family. I'll see you in the next one.